US talk show queen Oprah Winfrey has been hospitalised with stomach complaints. Her best friend Gayle has revealed the 70-year-old's stomach flu was so bad she became severely dehydrated. Oprah was admitted to hospital and put on an IV. Winfrey is reportedly resting and feeling better every day.
I'm not asking you to be a Christian. If you want to be one, I can show you how. But it is not required. I have respect for all faiths. All faiths.
I've seen it in the Bible. It clearly states that homosexuality is wrong. And I feel that you are a powerful woman and you have done so much. And if you are going to represent yourself as a Christian and then you're going to go on the show and say that you also support that, it's double standarding.
Well, I have a different view of Christian than you do. Okay? And the God I serve doesn't care whether you're tall or short or whether you were born black or Asian or gay. And so that's just a difference of belief. And I don't expect to change your belief today because just before I came down here, I'm late today because I was in the makeup room arguing with somebody who was telling me how all gay people are going to hell and now I'm going to hell with all the other gay people for doing the show. I take full responsibility for my going to hell or heaven, moving toward the light. She calls it fear and love. There's this wonderful book called Ishmael by Daniel Quinn, which is, anyway, it's a gorilla talking, but anyway, it talks about one of the points it brings out is one of the mistakes that human beings make is believing that there is only one way to live. That's right. That we don't accept that there are diverse ways of being in the world, that there are millions of ways to be a human being.
Please God?
And many ways, but many paths to what you call God. And her path might be something else, and when she gets there, she might call it the light. But her loving and her kindness and her generosity brings her, if it brings her to the same point that it brings you, it doesn't matter whether she called it God along the way or not.
And I guess the danger that could be in that, I mean, it sounds great on the onset, but if you really look at both sides,
there couldn't possibly be just one way. What about Jesus? What about Jesus?
one way and only one way, and that is through.
Couldn't possibly be with
Because
the
you
millions of people
say
in the
there
world.
isn't.
It couldn't possibly be.
Because you say, you intellectualize it and say there isn't. If you don't believe that, you're all buying into the
Argument with me.
It's not
thinking, a new form of spirituality that doesn't always align with the teachings of Christianity. So my question is to you, Oprah, how have you reconciled these spiritual teachings with your Christian beliefs?
I've reconciled it because I was able to open my mind about the absolute indescribable hugeness of that which we call God. I took God out of the box because I grew up in the Baptist church, and there were, rules and, belief systems and doctrine. And I happened to be sitting in church in my late 20s, and I was going to this church where you had to get there at, 8 o'clock in the morning, or you couldn't get a seat, and a very charismatic minister, and everybody was just, into the sermon. And this great minister was preaching about how great God was and how omniscient and omnipresent, and God is everything. And then he said, and the Lord thy God is a jealous God. And I was, caught up in the rapture of that moment until he said jealous. And something struck me. And I was like, I think about 27 or 28. I was thinking, God is all, God is omnipresent, God is all, and God's also jealous. God is jealous of me. And something about that didn't feel right in my spirit, because I believe that God is love and that God is in all things. And so that's when the search for something more than doctrine started to stir within me. And I love this quote that Eckhart has. This is one of my favorite quotes in chapter 1, where he says, "Man made God in his own image. The eternal, the infinite, and unnameable was reduced to a mental idol that you had to believe in and worship as my God or our."
So let's get into it. Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? The everlasting power, the Lord Yahweh, the creator of the ends of the earth, gave his commandments to Israelites, who are to introduce them to the world, as we are doing this very day. And since disobedient Israelites caused us to go into captivity under the last 4 Gentile kingdoms, they have disrespected the Lord Yahweh and his only begotten Son, Yahushua Mashiach, and changed his laws into that which is abominable. Daniel 7:25, for this was prophesied in the scriptures. And he, the 4th beast, being Rome, Esau, Edom, Idumea, shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out, that is, to harass constantly or figuratively, but used only in a mental sense, the saints of the Most High, and to think to change times and laws. And they, the Israelites, shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. 350 years. The following scriptures are laws that the Gentiles have changed in order to fulfill their own evil natures. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And just because the Christians don't understand and know that the abomination of homosexuality is in the New Testament, because your pastors won't tell you, Romans chapter 1, verses 24 and 27. Wherefore the Most High also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, their own minds, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Romans 1:26. For this cause the Most High gave them up to vile, that means a disgrace and shameful affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature, that is woman with woman. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, that which is shameful and disgusting, and receiving in themselves that recompense, that reward of their error, their mistake, their abomination, which was meat, which was right and proper, whether it be disease or death. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17, 18. Because we are to warn our brethren, our brothers and sisters. Verse 17, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart, in thy mind. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke or correct thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord Yahweh. You see, thy brother, thy neighbor, the children of thy people are all the same. It is not the Gentiles.
They only give you, part of what you want. So you have to bring your own thing to the table. I mean, they're in the business to make money. They don't care about what you say about them. They have 2 or 3 meetings every month. All the heads of the studios have meetings every month. And I guarantee you what they do is planned. It's planned. Right now they're into empowering the woman. Okay? So that's easy to do because there's no social threat to make a woman a star on television. But if you make a brother a star, then there's a possibility that he may be dating your daughter or your sister or your uncle's daughter, right? So they're not interested in creating that kind of social problems. To bring a woman into television, there's a couple of females now who are black who have television shows, but that's adhering to all this talk about women not getting roles. So, as I said, there's no social pressure.
Right.
Bringing a
Well,
woman.
I think, though, I mean, with someone like, Shonda Rhimes, for instance, having a black woman who actually has the power to write a show, produce a show, I think having, people of color, women in positions of power does make a difference. Would you agree? Do you think part of it is changing who's at the top?
No, that's not good enough. For you to find a way to produce and write and get a film made, you still need a distributor. So now it's up to the distributor to decide how much money and effort he's going to put into the project to release it. You can have the greatest product in the world, but if nobody knows you have it, it's worthless. So this empowering the woman fits into where we are right now. So they take a film like Selma, and they spend a lot of money putting out maybe 3,000, 3,500 prints right away so that it makes it money right away. And then wait and see if anybody else is going to see. They know when they put it out, the black audiences is going to run to it. But does it have legs? Will it have legs? I think that's why it didn't get a lot of recognition beyond the director into the Academy Awards, because it's a film geared to the black audience. And they want to see if it's going to last.
Right.
And if you look at who is leading the march, it's Oprah Winfrey. But Oprah has a plan. Oprah has the power to adhere to the black public and represent blackness, and then go to her TV show and become colorless. She becomes gray in her television show. She doesn't represent blackness on her television show. But in our movies, if you notice every movie that she makes, she is representing blackness. She takes off her makeup. She shows how fat she is, and she wears these unsexy clothes. And that's Oprah being Oprah. But she only does that because she knows she can go back to her show or do her old magazine, and they take 25 pounds off of each hip, and she looks like she's a 92-pounder on the cover of her old magazine.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 23. This is what Yahushua Mashiach said. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, Verily I say unto you, that a rich man or woman shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 8. For honorable age is not that which standeth in length of time, nor that is measured by number of years. So you can sin into your old age and not be punished until the Lord decides to punish you. So what friends do something this, in a word, so close and intimate? What type of friend does this? We know what it is, but nobody wants to call it for what it is. But, there's been a change in this person's life, you see. Before she had money, she was one way. After she got money, she became altogether something different and evil. You see, everyone knows what is really going on. No matter what the reasons for men and women fans not rebuking her obvious sin, the Lord seems to have already begun to judge. This is Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 17. For the Lord Yahweh, your power, is power of power, and Lord of lords, a great power, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward. That is, he does not take bribes. So your wealth is not going to do anything to stay the judgment of the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua. So you see, this is what it is. There's a reason for this. And what is the reason for this? Because you know what's really going on. We all know what's really going on, but because you guys out there are weak and don't want to judge her because she's wealthy, has fame, doesn't matter. And we know black women do not like accountability. And the Lord has been judging black women across this country in forms of government, being judges on a police department, in the military, in business, on television. You saw Wendy Williams. The Lord took that gossiper down hard. Let's get into some scriptures. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of the anointed, that everyone may receive the things done in his or her body, according that he has done, whether it be good or bad. Ecclesiastes chapter 23, verse 16. Two sorts of men or women multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath. A hot mind is as a burning fire. It will never be quenched till it be consumed. That is, till it is destroyed. A fornicator in the body of his flesh will never cease till he hath kindled a fire. And that fire is the judgment of the Lord. That's what it's talking about. Because the Lord is a consuming fire. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 16. Thus the righteous that is dead shall condemn the ungodly which are living, and youth that is soon perfected or completed, the many years and old age of the unrighteous. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 21, verse 6. He that hateth to be reproved, that is, to be corrected, is in the way of sinners. But he that feareth the Lord will repent from his heart, from his mind, from his wicked mind. Because you have to hold every thought subject to the will of Mashiach Yahushua. Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 2. The Lord hates these three sorts of men my soul hateth, and women my soul hateth, and I am greatly offended at their life. A poor man that is proud, a rich man or woman that is a liar, and an old adulterer that doteth. And that is somebody who's committing sin in their old age. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 6. For the Most High hateth sinners, and he will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. And see, now we find out that she has a chronic gastrointestinal issue. And I leave you in the most capable hands of the Most High Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahushua.